We're here with Ruben. We're catching up on his 1 year of Jiu Jitsu. He trains at Roots, and he just gave us the pleasure to sit down and talk with him. So we kind of start off, all the interviews the same. I know we talked about this the last time, but what got you into Jiu Jitsu? Why did you step into the gym?
So I started off training Muay Thai, and I wanted to do some grappling. It was just that simple. That was pretty much it.
Just saw it?
I just looked up a gym, bought a gi the next day, and then showed up the next day. I think it was a Friday. I bought a gi Thursday and then showed up Friday.
So like no research, nothing. I'm just gonna go do this.
Well, I had seen stuff on, UFC and just social media and then just YouTube and whatever.
What made you choose Roots versus going anywhere else?
It was already at the Muay Thai gym I was at.
Okay.
When Roots was at Mango Tree.
So
it was just convenience.
Convenience.
Easy.
Yeah. That's really a big factor for people. It's like it fits my schedule, or it's already right here.
Yep.
How did you feel in your last year of training Jiu-Jitsu? What have you learned, or what are the biggest takeaways you got?
What have I learned? Finesse. I guess that'd be a good word to describe it.
Okay.
Instead of just trying to force things, there's a flow and a finesse to everything.
Is that different from like the rhythm of Muay Thai, or similar?
I think a lot of things have similarity to it. I also picked up sailing within the past year. I haven't really kept up with that as much, but it's the same thing. You just gotta find the flow and the balance of everything, like balancing the sails and everything else, and just looking at where the water's gonna be and the tide's coming in. It's similar to, if I step left and you step left on Muay Thai, like where's the punch gonna go? And then rolling with Jesse a lot, it kind of points out where the finesse that I'm talking about, because he can somehow see where I'm going before I even know, and he's already pinning me down and then just flowing with it, and then all of a sudden I'm on my back.
I think a lot of those have similarities because like with the ocean, or with your partner, you don't control their movements completely. Like they're gonna do something, and you have to adjust to it, but you're not sure what it's gonna do. You might think it's gonna do this, but you just kind of gotta flow with it.
Yep, that's a good word. Control, some semblance of it, right? It's more like just learning how to ride it.
Learn how to ride, like adjust
that's what I mean by finesse. Just go with it.
For sure. What is something that you would tell yourself like a year ago? Like, hey man, like take this into consideration when you start jiu-jitsu, because now you do have a year of experience.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just go.
I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been this past year.
Okay.
I had some excuses, and I just let things get in the way, and I just didn't do things sometimes, and I just didn't show up.
Is this life?
But yeah, it's life, but it's also just, you just gotta do things sometimes.
Yeah. What do you think was your biggest challenge? Was it showing up at the gym? Was it training when you got here? Was it just like blowing it off for something else? Like what do you think the biggest challenge was not accomplishing what you wanted to in 2024?
Finding balance, I guess. Yeah. Between work and new relationships and family and travel and all that stuff. Just finding the balance for it. Coming back and being more consistent the past few months has just helped me realize that this is something I like to do because it makes me feel good. So if it makes me feel good, why not just do it more?
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of life. It's like, why do something you don't enjoy, but why aren't you doing the things you enjoy more? Because like no one can really tell you what to do. You're just like, I want to do that. And there's a lot of good things about it. It's like it keeps you in shape. Like there's a community. You get to meet people. So
I'll go home after this and be in a great mood until I go to sleep.
Right on. This fits. You come on Friday night. You save a lot of money. You don't go out. It's like, oh, I was here. I was just cruising. Oh, very awesome. What do you do for work?
I'm in the Air Force.
Okay. What do you do in the Air Force?
Just computer stuff.
Computer stuff. Okay. Like the IT stuff, the cybersecurity.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So that means you're on limited time in Hawaii.
Yeah. 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And you're a year in, 2 years in.
A year, a little over a year.
A year in. Okay.
Yeah. I got here July. So yeah, I think I'm almost at a year and a half.
Year and a half, wow.
If I do the math, almost. So I'm almost halfway there.
Do you have the ability to extend it or to stay longer?
I do.
Okay.
That window's coming up. I haven't really thought about it too much. I think I want to go and do something else.
Something else?
Yeah.
Now, where would be like your dream list of like bases to go to or like areas to go to?
Japan.
Japan?
Yeah, I want to get into judo, and I think
Japan would be cool. And there are Japanese Air Force bases, right? They have on the south side of the main island, and then they have Okinawa also, right? Is there any other Air Force bases out there?
I'm not sure all of them off the top of my head.
Well, I'm sure they all have computers, so it's like, hey guys, I'm here. I've trained in Japan, Jiu Jitsu and Judo. I really love the Japanese Brazilian Jiu Jitsu culture. I don't know if that's a thing, but like they have their own twist on how to do submission grappling.
Okay.
And it's weird because a lot of regions we just copied what the Brazilians were doing, and like there's an American-ish style, there's a Western style.
It's more like wrestling.
Yeah. But the Japanese, it was Jiu-Jitsu or it was Judo before it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then they got it back and they're like, hey, we changed some stuff. They have a very distinct style in Japan that I think the rest of Asia is just doing what everyone else is doing. The Japanese are doing their own style of grappling, and it's amazing. They do stuff where I'm like, I've never seen this, and the guy's like, we all do this, and you go the next guy, he's doing the exact same thing. So if you have a chance to train jiu-jitsu out there also, I highly recommend that.
I'd be up for it.
Yeah, it's cool. What would be your goals for 2025?
2025.
Whether professional or jiu-jitsu or whatever.
That's something I've been thinking about the past couple weeks. I haven't really settled on anything.
Haven't got the New Year's resolution out.
I was talking with my girlfriend. I knew for sure I wanted to read more books.
Okay.
That's an easy one. I want to be more consistent here.
Okay.
Want to see my friends and family more. So maybe more trips out to go see them.
Where are you from originally?
California.
California. So it's not too far of a trip. Northern or southern?
What was that?
Northern California or Southern California?
Southern California.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, so it's a relatively short flight from
6
Hawaii.
hours.
Yeah, that's not too bad. How often do you get back versus how much would you like to get back?
Not as often as it should. I think the last time I was back was last year, and before that was it was probably 2 years, and before that was like 4 years.
Okay.
So I've been a bit more consistent recently, but I've had more reasons that entice me to go back.
Okay.
Like I went for a concert to go see one of my favorite artists.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Maybe I like Southern California. It's really expensive,
Yeah.
but like the vibe there is so cool. Like there's a couple of cities out there I would move there in a heartbeat. And they got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. So yeah, it's a lot of opportunities and a lot of really good things out there. Where were you before you were stationed in Hawaii?
Korea.
Korea.
Yeah.
How'd you like living out there?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, Korea's awesome.
Was that Osan? Osan, okay. You were there for, what is it, 2 years overseas?
I was there for a year.
1 year?
Yeah.
Is that the normal 1 year?
It depends. Yeah, usually a year.
Okay. What was that your first overseas base?
Overseas, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge you had moving overseas?
Honestly, I didn't find it that hard. I'm always up for new experiences.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm always just down to just dive headfirst into a lot of things.
I think people that have that attitude, like I'm just gonna go see what it's like. Like I don't have any preconceptions about it. Like
I don't see the point in being scared.
Yeah, let's just see. I mean, people are people, and let's just go check it out. So I guess from Korea you came to Hawaii. You're like, oh, it's about the same. Like less than
Honestly,
that.
I had more of a culture shock coming back.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. It was just different. It was really different. I don't know. It was just different. Coming back after COVID and things were just different.
You came back.
Yeah.
When COVID was still going on, or was it?
It was
like
still
done?
kind of going on.
Okay.
There was still like lockdowns, and it was still just weird. And I hadn't been back in the U.S. since everything blew over.
Those were weird times.
Yeah. So it was a bit. It was a bit of a culture shock coming back, which I thought was fun.
That's funny. Like you grow up in the States, you're like, oh, this is gonna be easy. You go home, you're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. What happened? That's what I was asking myself, just looking around and seeing things. Like,
that's interesting.
It's weird.
I lived overseas for 4.5 years, and there was a little bit of like the things that I didn't have a car when I lived overseas, and driving again was like, you drive, you text, you change your station, you talk to your kids, whatever. And I was like, oh, I gotta pay attention.
Yeah,
I haven't been
attention.
driving for the last 4 years. That was probably one of the bigger adjustments I had when I came back was just kind of getting around again and not relying on trains and subways and stuff.
Yeah. Luckily, I had been here before, so it wasn't too big of a transition.
How was living in Korea during COVID?
I was there at the tail end. Like they just started lifting all the restrictions.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the base opened up pretty much right, maybe a week or two after I had gotten there.
Oh, you got good timing there.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got to see the whole country, which was pretty awesome.
That's really cool. One of my cousins was in Japan during COVID. He got there, like they shut everything down like a month later. He goes, man, I spent 3 years in Japan and a year and a half, 2 years. He hadn't really done anything outside of a 3-mile radius.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh, that kind of sucks. But he got lucky. He's still in Japan.
Okay.
Now he's exploring. And
Nice.
He's pretty happy about it. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Ooh, I always struggle with those kinds of questions. Is there too open-ended? There's just so many ways you can go.
It doesn't even have to be about jiu-jitsu or careers. It just be like something that's been on your mind. Or,
something that's been on my mind. I guess maybe it would be circling back to doing things that you like to do that make you feel good. Simple things. Like I tend to be pretty simple. I like eggs in the morning. Eggs in some fried chili oil. I mean, it's simple, but it's a good way to start the day. It's something to look forward to. That's a simple win, basically.
Yeah. And, you get a lot of small victories.
It's like you gain momentum, and you just start a flow, and you just carry that through your day, and then eventually through your week, and then all of a sudden you find yourself just being a happier person in general. Yeah.
And like you kind of control your own attitude. And
that is honestly what it mostly is about. That's like I had said that I made a bunch of excuses, but honestly it was just me deciding to be lazy.
Right.
It was my own decision to come back and start doing things on my own.
Do you have like advice or like a life hack or like a technique you use to keep yourself on track?
A schedule. Yeah, it's simple. It sounds simple, but yeah, a schedule.
Or like regularity is good.
Yeah. Discipline in the schedule it sounds like punishment, but it's really not. It helps you find and trim the fat and figure out the things you actually like in life.
Yeah. Sun comes up every day, it sets every day. Like why not be on a schedule?
Yep.
I like being on something consistent. It takes a lot of the other factors away in life.
Yep. You don't have to worry about as much. So you gotta
being happy.
What you do gotta worry about is the things you like to do, like your eggs in the morning, or coming to jiu-jitsu at 6.
Yeah. Do you foresee any issues if you continue, martial arts, grappling, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, as you have to change locations time and time again in your career?
I guess just finding people that I like being around. Yeah, every time you move somewhere, you gotta reset up your whole life.
Yeah,
it's fun. It is fun, and I've enjoyed it so far. But it's also it's not easy.
I couldn't imagine picking up, shifting your life, replanting, knowing I'm going to be here for a year, and then
Yeah, I lived out of a box, like out of a couple boxes, for probably like 9 years, 10 years almost.
Wow, is that how long you've been in the military?
Yeah, and I recently got a girlfriend.
Okay.
And things changed, and
someone else to think about?
Yeah. She basically said you gotta stop doing this, and I had to sit with myself and say like, okay, what's the issue? It's like, oh, you're living like out of boxes. That's kind of a problem. So I mean, maybe settle down and normalize a little bit. I was like, okay, I see what you're saying.
Having someone you care about, but someone that cares about you is so good for life.
Yeah, it's
like it's good to be independent and be able to handle your own thing, do your own thing. But it's like when there's some anchor and there's a why
and a new perspective.
Yeah, it's so good in life.
Yeah, I didn't realize that living out of a box is kind of not normal.
Oh, but all my friends do this. We're normal. It's good.
It's like, I didn't see a problem with it. My clothes are there. Everything's there. If I got to go, it's all packed up already.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have really anything else to ask you today.
Okay.
How can we find you on like the socials or anything?
Ooh.
Nothing?
I'm kind of a private person.
He got a real Air Force job. He said computers. He got like one of those top secret
sensitive subjects, huh?
No problem at all. We understand, sir. Well, thank you for your time.
Appreciate
Ruben.
it. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.